Hey, what's up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, no rotating display stand in the beginning because it's just, the stuff's too big. Can't do it. We are looking at the SH Figuarts Porunga and Dende Luminous Dragon Ball set Come Forth Genuine Shenron. I didn't realize there was all that extra I had to read, so it's like I'm trying to read it at an angle. This is, I do believe, the most expensive SH Figuarts Dragon Ball item to ever be released, not counting secondhand prices, of course. Grade 8 Vegeta was nowhere near this expensive, right? I don't think he was. This is $300, $300 US dollars. And since there's no turntable, we're just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna do a question of the day first. If you're buying something like this, are you an adult collector or a kid who likes gimmicks? This question is mostly sarcastic and facetious and rhetorical because it's a $300 SH Figuarts relatively obscure character. Like, kids aren't gonna know this. They're not gonna know what this is. They're gonna know Goku and Vegeta and Trunks and then some bad guys. More or less. But they seem to be very happy to announce that there's a gimmick. And I know technically that's the right word, but boy, is this a gimmick that doesn't belong on an adult collectible. And can I just note that the light up feature that they're showing right there and down there, they don't look anything like that, not even a little bit. And can I also note that on the card, on the box right there, Porunga's eyes look like they're glowing red, and it doesn't do that. Or if it does, I haven't figured out how, but there's no batteries to install in him, so I'm assuming they don't glow. They're just actually pink plastic. This is just absurd. This is an absurd release. So, alright, let me go ahead and get this giant ass box. It's a huge box. It's freaking massive. Let me get this giant box off the table and we'll get into the rest of the review. Okay, let me get Porunga in his highest. There, I bent his torso back, so this is as tall as Porunga's gonna get. Alright, we're not gonna measure. I can measure to the fin if you want. I'll do it. It's just over 16 inches to the fin. That's not going to help for scale purposes. To his horns, it's 14 inches roughly, and to his head, we'll say 13 inches. In metric, that is about 33 to his head, about 36, we're talking centimeters, about 36 to his horns, and about 41 to the top of his fin. It's a big boy, but it's not that big. That's what she said. Not to me. It was to me. Okay, so here he is, Porunga in all his glory. Everybody loves Porunga's design because it's buff Shenron, basically. It's awesome. He's a cool character design. And I think most people were pretty concerned when they announced that they were making this because it was going to cost a friggin' fortune, and it didn't look all that good. The sculpt works fine, I'll give them that for sure. But it's almost all molded plastic except for this beige color, which is painted. And there's a smudge on mine right in his chest. Which is okay enough. Given the fact that he's a dragon, the little bit of luster you get from the molded plastic is okay, I guess. But it's not really, it looks cheap. It looks really cheap, frankly. Which was the same problem that the Shenron figure had, so that's not great. And then as far as it being an action figure, we'll get to that. We're just doing the aesthetic. We're going to run this like a regular review. So aesthetically speaking, not having any shading anywhere on this figure other than where the palms are, which we'll look at in just a second more closely, it looks super cheap. For $300? Like, I get molding's expensive and there's some big molds, especially for this giant transparent plastic that doesn't light up or anything, even though it looks like it most definitely should. Like, yeah, I get molds are expensive, but that's not really our problem. For $300, I feel like we got gypped big time. So let's talk about that shading. There's no shading on like his neck or anything. That's just a clean line everywhere except for his palms. And that would look cool if they shaded it properly, but if you look at the actual shading, you can see the little speckles of paint, which means it wasn't sprayed properly. That's not how you airbrush. And I doubt that they were going for that on purpose because it looks bad. It looks bad. So that's a problem for me here. This hand might show it a little better. CNN might get mad at me for showing this hand, but if you look at the spray paint job, the airbrush paint job, it's all speckly, and that's not how it should look. I highly doubt that they were doing that intentionally because it looks bad and you don't generally want that. So, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. The other problem I already mentioned, his eyes are pink. They're supposed to be red and glowing, and I didn't think they were going to glow, but I thought, hey, maybe for $300 it's got some other electronics in it, maybe they'll glow. They don't. That's just false advertising on the box, and I think they did that for someone else whose eyes were glowing on the box. I don't know. No, that was maybe that was a Monster Arts figure. Either way, it just feels so cheap for what it should be, for as much as it costs. And this fin, I can't get it to peg in any tighter. See that top fin, how there's a gap running along his back? I can't get it to go in any tighter. And I tried really, really hard. So that's super annoying. There's that issue. Then mine's just missing a chunk of paint over here, which isn't obviously a huge deal. That's not going to be universal. But mine is missing a chunk of paint, so that kind of blows. So yeah, aesthetically speaking, Porunga himself, pretty disappointing. It'll look okay in the background of an SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z display, but also, it's going to take up so much space and cost so much, I'm guessing most people aren't going to even buy it. And it's just not that good. It's not that good. Some people were complaining that they cut out the articulation down here. Who cares? I mean, realistically, you can't pose the damn thing anyway other than the arms and the neck. What are you going to do with a waist twist? Who cares? That would look like crap if they left that cut in there. Thank goodness they didn't. This already looks bad enough. We'll get into that in the articulation. So his aesthetic, I'll rate him separately. His aesthetic, oh man, even the shoulders are just janky looking. 5 out of 10. For $300, I should go lower. 4 out of 10. For $300, get the heck out of here. No freaking way. Alright, let's look at Dende next. There we go. So there's Dende. You might have thought Dende was going to be an action figure. He's not. We'll get to that in the articulation section. As far as his aesthetics, well, it's painted okay. The purple and maroon, they're not the cleanest paint jobs ever, but they're okay. His face is okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's it. The sculpt is fine. Do you want a height measurement? I think you're going to want a height measurement. Now, it's kind of funny because Dende has changed ages and sizes in the show and in the manga in an irregular way because Toriyama forgot some changes happened. But he's only about 2.5 inches tall, a little shy of that, which makes him only about 6 centimeters. So he is very small. You could argue he's supposed to be smaller than Gohan and Krillin, which is true, but this seems like it's a little bit too small. I guess it doesn't really matter because it's Dende and who cares, but it does seem a little bit small. But yeah, aesthetically speaking, it's okay. He's basically a statue, though, so I'll just mention it briefly. His arms move and his neck moves, and that's it. So there's not much to him. And part of that is because of the silly feature, which I have to talk about in a minute. But aesthetically speaking, he's okay. I'll give him a 6. No shading or anything, but a little bit of paint and a clean face is okay, I guess. Yeah, so that's okay, aesthetically speaking. Now we have to talk about this part aesthetically, because we have to do it. We have to talk about the whole thing aesthetically, and that would be the display base. Let me get these goofy-ass Dragon Balls out of here. We'll talk about those in a minute. This display base looks like cheeks. It's really bad. The sculpt is fine. It's just supposed to be terrain, but it's solid molded plastic everywhere, except for the completely uninspired blue paint on top. There's no shading. There's nothing to make it look like anything. And I get that it's coming from an anime or a manga, but I mean, for $300, a wash would have been nice. Some texturing that wasn't just super soft sculpt. The cut holes right here could have been hidden. Nothing about this screams high quality at all. This looks cheap. It feels cheap, it looks cheap, and by the way, it sounds cheap. We'll get to that. But before we even get to that, I have to mention, whoever decided to make the battery compartment the kind that requires you to depress a little button in there with some kind of thin stick, as the instructions say, what the hell? Is someone trying to steal your batteries? Why is it so impossibly hard to get the cover off? I shouldn't have to go find a tool to get the battery cover off for my collectible. No one's trying to steal my 3 AA batteries. That's not a necessary feature. Why? Why? For $300, I shouldn't have to fight my damn toy to get my batteries. Okay, so this looks like crap. Okay, let's talk about the Dragon Balls, which are a key feature because this is the light up illuminated Dragon Ball Super Set or whatever they're calling it. Here they are. In all their glory, they look worse than every Dragon Ball that they have released so far because of that seam line and because they are fully opaque. They're transparent plastic, clear orange plastic with the printing for the stars around some kind of ball. I don't know if it's just a plastic ball with metal inside or what, but the way this whole stupid gimmick works is, I don't know if it's magnetic resistance or some kind of capacitive resistance. I don't know, but you have to set the balls in the holes like this so that they can function with the stupid gimmick. But they don't look good. They look okay until you see the giant seam, and then they look like straight crap. So aesthetically speaking, the base and Dragon Balls, 1 out of 10. They don't look good. They don't look good at all. They look really, really bad. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the accessories. We'll set these aside. And we'll do Shenron. We'll do Porunga's accessories. Alright, so Porunga gets the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. He gets 2 open hands. They are nicely sculpted, by the way. And then he does get the style pose hand, which might even get this video turned off on YouTube. Who knows these days? They're all sculpted well, so that's cool. That's all he gets. So we'll just rate the accessories overall. And then Dende gets an alternate head where he's yelling or laughing, and that looks pretty good. And then he comes with 2 open hands on him in the package and 2 little tiny fist hands. That's it for accessories, not counting the Dragon Balls, which I am counting as part of the base, which does not count as an accessory for the set, if you ask me. So accessories for this set, I guess 7 out of 10. I don't know what else you would really need other than better looking Dragon Balls for when you're not using the stupid feature. And I guess the Namekian Dragon Balls will fit on there, but that's only if you already have them from the other figures. So yeah, I guess 7 out of 10 for accessories. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Porunga's articulation because I don't want to deal with that gimmick. It's the most annoying thing ever. We'll get that last. So he does have a few ball pegs in the neck. That there's a separation here and then for the head, so it does allow him to mostly look up and down, which is nice. Like, it does work well for up and down, but for whatever reason, the way they designed it, there's no side to side. Not really, just a little bit of wiggle. So it's very limited, considering it should just be straight up ball pegs. But he can look down nicely, like all the way down, so that's good. And then pretty far up. His jaw functions, but he has a severe underbite. And it doesn't open very far, so it's basically probably just going to stay open because it doesn't look good when it's closed. Alright, for his shoulders, we do get these butterfly joints, which, let me just zoom in so you can see this. You see that little nubbin right above my finger? That's a stop, so that you can't bring it forward any more than that. Why? Why would you stop your joint from working? It already doesn't work very well. It's good enough, but that's only because he has giant crazy ball pegs in here connecting to the butterfly joint and has humongous shoulders. Like, the butterfly joint shouldn't be limited like that, but luckily because of those ball pegs, it does work pretty well. I mean, the shoulders work well. The butterfly joint doesn't serve much purpose, honestly, unless you're trying to shrug his shoulders. But most people, I'm guessing, are going to leave the butterfly joint forward so that he has some traps and looks okay. But it still doesn't look great. And there's really no point. Anyway, okay, let's go on. So you get your full rotation on that ball peg, of course. So he can rotate his arm all the way around, no problem there. Going out to the side, that's it. He can't raise his arms up more than that. Why? Good question. Don't know. Bicep swivel, guess what? It doesn't do anything really. Like, it has virtually no range. Why? Don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Elbow joint is a double jointed elbow, which is kind of weird, but it actually works really well. I like that elbow joint. That's nice. Why does the bicep not work? Why does the shoulder not work? Don't know. Very strange. Wrists, we'll use this hand. The wrists on this guy are giant ball hinges, but they didn't do a good job of painting the beige on there. So he's got some lime green going on, which isn't anywhere else on the figure. So you have beige and regular green, then you have lime green and beige, and some dark green on the other side, and then the poorly painted hands. So that looks pretty awful. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Now here's the kicker. Here's the torso articulation. Let me show you this. I don't know what the heck happened with this figure, and I don't think anyone else does either. Especially the people working on it. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to be a little bit rude because this costs $300. Let me get this just there. Alright, so one cool thing is you do have the two separate fins, and this fin does tuck into the top fin for him to lean back. But he only leans back that far. So let me put his head forward so you can see. So that's how far he goes back. That's the absolute farthest he goes back, the straightest he can be. Then if you lean him forward, you get that much, which isn't... It's not exactly a ton of range, right? It's pretty limited. But here's the really weird thing. His spring-loaded upper abdominal. Why? It doesn't touch anything. If you purposely press him up against it, it'll touch it. But if you just bring him forward, it doesn't need to touch it. See the gap? I don't understand what the spring-loaded abdominal section is for. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. The whole thing is so weird. Leaning side to side doesn't really work. Rotation doesn't work. It can't because of the fins for either of them. Can it if you go all the way forward? Nope, it just wiggles. There's no point in articulating this guy other than posing his shoulders and neck just a little bit. And that's lame, because this should have been some ball pegs, and you should have been able to pose him pretty well. Ball pegs through the neck, ball pegs through the torso. Make these joints work normally, like normal joints. For $300, there's no reason they don't. Articulation on Porunga gets a 5 out of 10. Even the arms, which are just giant standard arms, don't work well. So that's super lame. Okay, let's do articulation on Dende. This one is going to be impressive. Alright, Mr. Dende. Okay, for the head, we get a little tiny double ball peg, which isn't great, but it doesn't have to do much. But he can't really look up. They could have arranged it for him to be able to look up, but he can't. So he's not going to really be looking at... I wonder how many times I've said Shenron, or if I did it all. I almost did just now. Porunga. I think I did once before. Anyway, the little double ball peg does a little bit of range, but not much. Then the shoulders are on ball pegs. So they move around a little bit. The hands can move around on their ball pegs a little bit. And that's it. His legs are static because he has to work with the gimmick. So, 1 out of 10 for articulation for Dende. Why? Why not just give us a little Dende for $300 freaking dollars? I thought we were going to get a full figure. We didn't. Okay. Alright, let's talk about the gimmick. We have to talk about the gimmick, which is the main thing you're paying for, it turns out, on this set. And before I turn it on, we have to go to the instructions. And I'm going to hold this up so that it's on camera for those of you who want to read it and don't want to hear me reading it. But some of you don't watch and only listen for some of these reviews. So I'm going to read these instructions out loud. This explains the gimmick. And you need to hear this because this is something else. This is an adult collectible. Remember, $300 adult collectible. And these are the notes about the gimmick. Step 1. Place a Dragon Ball on the base's dent with the star mark facing up. The Dragon Ball glows when placed correctly. Okay, reasonable enough. Glowing Dragon Balls, that's kinda cool. Don't think I'll ever use it, but that's pretty cool. Step 2. When finished placing 7 Dragon Balls, which is all of them, they glow once again at the same time. Also, that's pretty cool. I like that. I think we would have been good there. If they just stopped there, we would have been fine. Nice little gimmick. Doesn't cost too much. That's kinda cool. Step 3. Place Dende on the designated position. If successful, you hear Dende's spell to summon Porunga. Okay, so now we have to place Dende in a certain spot, and he is recognized by the base, and then he will talk. Don't worry, I'm gonna play it so you guys can hear this sound chip. It's horrible. Alternately to step 3, if you press the function button, Oh, it's a typo. Press the function button does the same effect without placing Dende. So if you don't want to place Dende, just press the button, and then Dende will talk anyway, even though he's not there. Okay, step 4. You hear Porunga summon sound effect, and the voice is when pressing function button or a certain period of time elapses. Okay, so you press the function button, and you'll hear Porunga, or it'll take time. Step 5. Porunga asks for your wish. So think about your wish and press the function button. Then Porunga makes a reply to your wish. You will repeat this 3 times. So we're actually role-playing now, making wishes to a piece of $300 plastic. As adult collectors. They thought this was a good idea. Okay, so Porunga will ask us for our wish 3 times, and we have to make our wish and press the button to get him to move his ass along. Alternately, you can move Dende away from the base at least 10 centimeters and put Dende back on the base. That is the same effect as pressing the function button. So I don't know if that means if you make your wish and then pull Dende away and put him back, that'll function as the button, or are they just telling us to start over? I'm not sure. It's unclear. Another asterisk that's not a step. There are several variations for Porunga's replies, including denying. Another asterisk. Porunga or Dende requests you to make a wish when not pressing the function button, meaning if you don't press it, they will prompt you to, hey, make your wish and press this button. You're taking too long. Okay? Okay. Another asterisk. Porunga's replies do not guarantee your wishes will be granted in the future. Glad they clarified. Number 6, or step 6. After the 3rd wish, it ends with the sound effect of Porunga disappearing. Or, it also ends if you do not press the function button. I thought, so is it after the 3rd wish if we don't press the function button it's over? Or are they going to prompt us to press it? It's all very unclear. And believe me, you're not going to want to try to figure it out for yourself because it's freaking annoying. Alright, and then lastly, number 7, you can start again by pressing the function button after the end, if the power switch is not turned off. Okay, well, I didn't think I only got to do it once, so thanks for clarifying, but I didn't need that. And also, I kind of assumed the power switch had to be turned on. But also, there's a caution. We have to note this, guys. Note this. If there is metal near the base for Dragon Balls, or the table on which base is placed is made of metal, malfunction may occur. In this case, please change the location and try again. So move this giant $300 action figure and the base with the balls and Dende somewhere else if your table or display thing happens to be made out of metal, because it won't work. Why did we pay for this? Whose idea was this? It's the worst thing ever. It's horrible. Okay, let me move these balls. Get these balls out of the way here. We're going to turn it on. And we're going to... Every time you turn it on, you hear Dende scream. It's the most obnoxious thing. Hopefully you guys hear this. I'm going to turn the mic a little bit so you can. I hope. Alright, we're going to place our balls. I'm going to turn the lights out so you guys can see also. Alright. It's not working. I don't have a metal table. Hang on. I'm going to put the balls in my pocket. This table's not made out of metal. There's metal under the table. Let me just try holding it, and we'll do it that way. Alright, will this work? It's on. Brand new batteries. I already tested it. Okay, I turned off even more lights and hopefully... Okay, now it's working. So you can see the Dragon Balls don't exactly glow in a wonderful way. Maybe I can do it with this amount of light. I can't even show it to you because they don't glow for shit. They're not bright enough to turn the lights off, and if I have the lights on, you can't see them glowing. It's okay. This is irritating. I can't even review the damn thing because it's so bad. I've never had a figure so bad that I couldn't review it. All right, so you're gonna have to take my word. They don't glow at all in a way that you would want them to. I'll try to leave the camera off, even though it's not gonna focus properly. Alright, that wasn't even the annoying part. So there you go. The Dragon Ball's all lit up after I put them all in place. What a piece of junk. $300 worth of garbage, basically. Why didn't they just sell us a Porunga statue? Why didn't they do that? Okay, so listen. That's the balls lighting up is a problem. But now we're going to pretend like we're making our wishes. So we're going to set Dende here and listen to him run his mouth, and then Porunga can talk. You might have noticed it's in Japanese. It's so obnoxious. How? Okay. Is Porunga gonna talk? What's happening here? Are we just listening? Are we just listening to the balls? I pressed the button. I don't know. I listened. I read the directions. I don't know what's going on. This. Okay, now he's talking. Who is this for? Why is there so much talking? Why is the sound chip so terrible? Why are there huge pauses in between? Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I had to make my wish. I made a wish. I wish this thing was better. Okay, I assume that means they granted my wish. My Japanese is a little bit rusty and I can barely understand what they're saying. Okay, so I guess I... Okay, I think that means make your next wish. You see how annoying this process is? Like, what is this for? Who's doing this? There, made my wish. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. You get the idea. It's a lot of annoying sounds, way too much talking, way too much pausing, way too much interactivity in a way that's not pleasant for an adult. What is this? He's still talking. Okay, I'm not making any more wishes. You guys get the idea. It's ridiculous. This is not for adults. It's not even fun for kids because the things don't light up. They don't understand Japanese. Unless you're in Japan or happen to be bilingual. The audio chip is crap. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're prompting me to make a wish. So I'm going to cut this because I can't stand this. I had to turn the thing off with the power switch because I couldn't stand listening to it anymore. It takes forever. It's just the most obnoxious, annoying thing for an adult collector. It makes no sense. How about this, Bandai? How about this? You already sold us Dragon Balls. Either let us use those or give us some new Dragon Balls and just put some freaking lights in the base. If those were just lights underneath there that lit up the Dragon Balls, it would have cost like 30 cents to put some LEDs and a battery in there and it would have been done. Instead, we get this stupid sound chip and we have to play this stupid guessing game of I don't know what the hell it's saying unless I speak Japanese, and even then, I don't need to make wishes to a plastic toy. This thing is mind-boggling to me. I knew it was going to be gimmicky, but I thought it was going to be mostly an action figure / collectible with a little bit of a gimmick. Not all of this nonsense. I'm so irritated and pissed off by this thing. Who did they make it for? Whose idea was it to grant wishes and then to tell you, by the way, just remember, these wishes won't actually come true. Thanks. I can tell because I wish this was worth my money. It's not. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. What a ridiculous piece. Oh, man, I can't imagine having this base in my collection at all. I'll stick Dende in there, and obviously Porunga, because he looks like Porunga, but what a there's nothing about this that is satisfying to me, other than Porunga is a cool character, and it mostly looks like him, but even the eyes aren't the right color, and he's not well made. And Dende's not an action figure. I just don't get it. The whole thing's nonsense. I'm going to give this thing an overall rating of 1 out of 10. Honestly, it's horrible. Nowhere near worth the money. We paid so much for this stupid magic 8-ball. It's just nuts. It's nuts. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.